Namaskar, I am Purnindu Kumar Patra and I welcome you to the next part of our video lecture series in strategic management. In this part, we are going to focus on the aspect of strategic evaluation and control in the strategic management process. Every strategy after being implemented needs to be evaluated, and in the evaluation, in the previous video as we had discussed, if the evaluation has been bias free, has been neutral, has been very honest, then the organization can actually see which are the weak links in the implementation. If the outcome has been more than expected, then the organization is definitely pleased. But how to manage the surplus? All of this is possible only if the evaluation has been done in a very bias free manner, in a very neutral way by professionals. As we had discussed in the last video, strategic evaluation is best conducted by a outside party, a separate and independent auditor, a consultant. So, the process of strategic control is basically, it involves measurement of the deviations followed by corrective actions taken. Now, once you have seen the deviations, positive or negative, whichever, you need to plan out the next step, because in a system, in the strategy implementation system, the feedback is already built in, which means whatever strategic action you decide to take during the control phase will be by default fed back into the inputs, the process and the output, all of them. We will come to these stages of control later on. First, we need to understand what is the role of strategic control. It helps in measuring the progress of the strategy, just like the implementation of a project, wherein the project could have been planned for 12 months, but in all these 12 months, there is not one but several, there are many review meetings. The purpose of these review meetings is to take stock of the current situation, how well the project is progressing, what are problems faced by people, engineers or managers. If they need help, the organization is there to support them. How do you get this all feedback from the system? By a proper evaluation mechanism. If your evaluation is proper, then control can help in measuring progress. So, evaluation will give you a fair idea of how good the progress has been. Is it time bound or not? Are we within the budgetary limits? Are we exceeding certain legal provisions that need to be complied with? So, all of these checks have to be maintained through strategic control process. Similarly, it acts as a feedback for future actions. Without this control mechanism, there will be no feedback, and the vice versa. Without the feedback also, there is no control. So, feedback arises, if the feedback arises from a very honest and bias free evaluation, then the feedback is going to be a very honest process itself, which means if the reporting has been done by the, if a proper reporting has been done by the auditor, the consultant, then the same sincere honest feedback is going to be fed into the inputs, into the preceding stages of the strategy, whereby the chances of error in the next phases of implementation will be minimized. So, feedback is necessary for future action meaning the preceding phases of strategy. And also, if the evaluation has been done by a evaluator, an independent evaluator, auditor or consultant, their performance and their reward, they must be justified. If they have performed as expected, if they have been able to spot a large number of weaknesses, the organization might like to think that they have done a decent job. At the same time, the organization might want to do some soul searching. Why so many mistakes? But taking it with a pinch of salt, the organization knows now that the consultant was hired, the consultant who was hired was a professional person or was a professional organization. So, they must be rewarded accordingly. Normally, the reward are in terms of fees or percentages or commissions. So, according to the performance of the evaluator, their own performance and their own reward should be planned, and to help in this, a strategic control mechanism is necessary. So, we will next proceed to the stages of strategic control. I have made a very simple diagram of a strategic management process, where I have highlighted only 3 blocks, a very simplified diagram of inputs. Now, inputs could be raw material inputs, human inputs, financial inputs, all kind of capital inputs, all sorts of inputs, technology, everything. Everything I have considered here as inputs. Process includes whatever manufacturing processes, whatever decision making processes, whatever management processes, whatever service processes you have in place. All of the operational tasks I have represented in process. Now, here the strategy implementation is done in this block, and then there is the output. Output is basically the results that you want from the strategy. It could be in sales terms, it could be in satisfaction terms, it could be in brand loyalty terms, it could be in brand awareness terms, it could be let us say for a turnaround or for a retrenchment, it could be the reduction of further losses, or stopping further losses, or preventing further damage to an organization, or any output that you desired from the strategy, that has been represented by this block. Now, when you are implementing strategic control, when you are carrying out the process of control mechanism works in 3 phases or 3 stages. First is the phase of inputs. If the quality of inputs is good, if you have selected the right kind of people for a job, if you have selected the right kind of technology for a task or for a operation, if you have selected the right kind of leaders, if you have chosen the right quality raw material, if you have selected the right kind of supplier for you at the right price, at the appropriate quality, then the chances of your strategy or your output being defective is very less. That is why checking for the appropriateness, fitness of the inputs is very important. That is where feed forward control, because it is inputs go in the forward direction, that is why feed forward control is implemented here at the input stage. This is one stage. Now, when the strategy implementation is in place, when actually production is being carried out, when actually training is being carried out, when actually the marketing team is actually visiting customers and selling them, when everything is in the field, when the when the strategy is in force, in implementation, the consultant visits them and checks them, what are the loopholes, are they missing out on something, are they doing something wrong, and if the consultant is an expert, if they advise them, if they stop them then and there and say that, hello, you are doing this wrong, if you change, if you make such changes, you will have different outputs, you have held the wrench in a different position, in a very wrong position, you need to hold the machine or the tool in a different way for the best outcome and minimum exhaustion of the worker. So, if the consultant gives their expert advice during the operation, during the implementation of the strategy, then the chances of a defective output will again be reduced, and they will be significantly reduced. So, in that case, again we call this control mechanism as concurrent control, because the process is right now in full operation and the consultant has made an intervention, has interrupted the process, stopped it for a while, made corrections, and then allowed it to proceed. Again, this is moving in the forward direction, still in the forward direction, because the outputs are yet to be realized. Now, once the outputs have started coming and you observe that the outputs have some defect in it, maybe people are not satisfied, customers are not satisfied, maybe employees are not satisfied, maybe there is no improvement in employee behavior after a certain training program. It could be anything. Once you see that the output has deviated from what you had expected, you will conduct a feedback control. You will analyze what went wrong. Did the trainer miss out, or was the trainer taking a very long session? Did he or she not give sufficient breaks? Did we choose the wrong vendors out in the inputs itself? Did we choose the wrong vendors? So, all of it is captured at the output. If you do the first two stages correctly, the feedback control, the necessity of the feedback control will be minimized. There might not be the need of a feedback control. So, in case you missed something in the feed forward control or the concurrent control, then the output must be evaluated or checked for quality, for feedback, for time, for packaging, for effectiveness, for efficiency, for power consumption. All of this has to be checked at the output, so that feedback and corrective actions, this CA represents corrective action. Corrective actions can be fed back into inputs and processes. Now, once corrective actions are suggested, now you meet the trainer. Let us say we are addressing a training program. The HR head of an organization decides that no, my employees are not very satisfied. I think we need to give them some motivational training programs, or a boot camp perhaps, a weekend off at a very exotic location perhaps, something. And in such a program, they have had a trainer, a very renowned person who is known for his or her motivational campaigns. So, they bring this person in and he or she starts the program. End of the program, the CHRO, chief HR head, meets this trainer, and over a cup of tea they discuss what went wrong or how was the overall program. And this HR head observes that, first of all, remember that the HR head knows his or her employees better than the trainer. So, he or she observes that the trainer has misread, has made a mistake in understanding the employees, which is why the trainer is giving a feedback which is appropriate perhaps for employees of other companies, but not this one. So, in that case, the person or the HR head will conduct a feedback control and will take a corrective action, will point to the trainer, no sir or no ma'am, this is where you went wrong, you should have given them breaks, or my people, they are used to very uninterrupted weekends, and now we are conducting this program in the weekend. So, probably that is why they are dissatisfied, they want to go back home, or they want to be somewhere they like to be with their friends, but we have forced them to come this weekend and attend this program. So, perhaps that is why. So, anything that the HR head feels that the trainer has missed, will act as a corrective action, and this feedback into the system will act as a corrective action. So, that is the those are the stages of strategic control. I hope we have addressed the issue of control and strategic control, its roles, what are the roles of or importances of strategic control and the various stages. I hope I have made them clear, and we will meet again in the next video, where we will talk about the various techniques or components of strategic control. Thank you for watching this video.